Before the earth was made, wisdom stood tall, knowing every step through the rise and the fall. In the pages of Proverbs, secrets unfold, revealing a treasure more precious than gold. Get wise, open your eyes, read a chapter every day, you'll realize. Guided by wisdom, let preparedness rise. Get wise, it's no surprise, a proverb a day will bring wisdom your way. Get wise. It takes wisdom to get paid, to walk the right way, to make the right choices every single day. From the dawn of creation to the hustle and grind, Proverbs light the path for a clear state of mind. Get wise, open your eyes, read a chapter every day, you'll realize. Guided by wisdom, let preparedness rise. Get wise, it's no surprise, a proverb a day will bring wisdom your way. Get wise. A proverb a day will bring wisdom your way. Wife shouldn't nag, men shouldn't brag. Shut your lips like a vice, show people your wife. Take a moment, let the words sink in. With every chapter, let the journey begin. Get wise, open your eyes, read a chapter every day, you'll realize. Guided by wisdom, let preparedness rise. Get wise, it's no surprise, a proverb a day will bring wisdom your way. Get wise, open your eyes, read. Before the earth was...
Well, good morning. My name's DJ, and I read a Proverbs chapter every single day, and I think you should too. So thanks for joining me. We're going to be reading from Proverbs 27 today. But before we do that, let me give a little time to pray for you, and we'll get going. Father God, thank you for all of these that are gathered either live or after the fact. I ask that you would bless them and, of course, myself with understanding this morning, that you guide us with not just clever phrases and words, but with true understanding that we can take action upon. And we do ask that in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, let's get into it.
It's time for Proverbs.
All right. Well, hey, by the way, if any of you out there are good with like video editing or like on-screen content creation, that sort of thing, I'd love to redo things like that video intro and some others, but I don't really have the in-house skill set. I usually have to, you know, kind of take a lot of time to figure it out. So if anybody wants to volunteer their time, or if you know anybody that would like to volunteer for their time for that, please let me know because I would love to enhance that experience and just up level this show as much as we can. But in any case, you weren't here to listen to me talk about that. You were here for this. Let's get into Proverbs chapter 27 in the New American Standard Bible as we finish this out. So we have warnings and instructions. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you don't know, or you do not know what a day may bring. This is very true. And by the way, the whole boasting about tomorrow thing, that's kind of that whole concept of uh, even just saying, "Oh, I'll be taking care of that tomorrow." Yeah, that's on my agenda for tomorrow. Yeah, that's kind of like boasting about tomorrow, isn't it? So you don't really know. You don't actually know. So there are plans, and there's God laughing, as the phrase goes. Um, yeah. Another key here, verse 2: let another praise you, and not your own mouth; a stranger, and not your own lips. And I know I highlight this every single time, but this is just one of those things where the more I promote me, even for good purposes like what we're doing here, the more I do that, the less results I get. It is just, it really is kind of a waste of my time. Having other people talk about it, that works. So when it's great that some people have chosen to subscribe and they hit the like button and all that. It's good. It really is. But really, it's one of those things where people don't want to hear you talking about you. And even if you are talking about things that are good for them, it still can come off like that I'm just talking about myself. I'm trying to build myself up. Oh, listen to my great podcast. Aren't I wonderful? And all this kind of stuff. It's just like it's not really. It doesn't work. And so that's why it's better to let another praise you. It's better to let another person share that. It's better to let another person um, kind of sing your praises at work, where you're just like another person is saying, Sally did a really great job putting that report together for us, didn't she? That sort of thing. And just be willing to be that person that does this, that praises other people in public. And let me say this like really boldly and clearly. This is something that I try my best to live by, and that is the concept of praise in public, correct in private. And a lot of times we get into this. We're as a society we have it twisted. We correct in public, and we praise in private. It's so opposite of the way it should be. Praise in public, correct in private. Write that down. Let's move on to verse 3. A stone is heavy and the sand weighty, but the provocation of a fool is heavier than both of them. Wrath is fierce, and anger is a flood, but who can stand before jealousy? Hmm. That's an interesting point. I never thought about this before. The who can stand against jealousy thing. It it kind of is one of those things where wrath and anger and things like that are things that can be prevented. But jealousy, it's weird. Like you can't do anything to prevent jealousy. Not really. Uh, it's like you're powerless to that one. So that is interesting. I'd never thought about that before, to be honest with you. That is one of those things where it's just like there are other things you can prevent, but jealousy is just one of those things where it's just like haters gonna hate. I don't know how to say that. Sorry, laughing and shaking the desk here. Um, but yeah, that's an interesting. It's something that popped into my mind there. Let's move on though. Verse 5: Better is open rebuke than love that is concealed. So again, we have one of those. Yeah, it's the same. It's just like we were saying before. Like the whole. Um, it's that contrast. So obviously, we don't want love that's concealed, and we don't want open rebuke. But it's better to have the open rebuke than it is to have the love concealed. And so, in, in other words, in a way of saying it, if it came down to it, the correction is better than the hidden love kind of thing, that not knowing that. And so always lead with love is the thing here. So that's the thing, is like that's the if you flip it. Um, so it would say that, well, yeah, that love should be open and rebuke should be uh, concealed, or maybe hidden or private. Yeah, it's one of those balance points we see a lot of in here. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Goes right back to that, doesn't it? And deceitful are the kisses of an enemy, or excessive. It's better to be corrected by somebody that likes you instead of somebody that doesn't like you. And honestly, this is why a lot of times, I'll be honest, on many like social media platforms, for example, I won't even engage with a comment. Um, my response always is to engage, and I'm getting better about this. Sometimes it's just one of those things where it's just obviously this person is just after you. You didn't ask for it. They don't know you. Delete. There's just no value in trying to engage with people that are just after you, for whatever reason, you know. In any case, let's move on. It's going to take forever if I don't move on here. A satisfied person, or satisfied soul, despises honey or tramples on honey. Remember, now honey was in this region often literally found in the ground. It was so the trampling on honey actually makes some sense. It's just like not even caring about it. But to a hungry person or a hungry soul, any bitter thing is sweet. Like a bird that wanders from its nest, so is a person that wanders from his home or place. Oil and perfume make the heart glad, and if a person's advice is sweet, to his friend, yeah, or a soul's advice, yeah, a person's advice, okay, yeah. So similar kind of thing here. We're just saying that there's some things that make the heart glad, but um, a person's advice is sweet. In other words, we we need correction, but advice is nice. I wish I could make like comments instead of just highlights. That might be something I need to look into. Oh wait, can I do that? Oh wow. Look at this. Look at that. Learned something new today. Okay. I'm gonna stop playing. Maybe. Verse 10, do not abandon your friend or your father's friend, and do not go to your brother's house on the day of your disaster. Better is a neighbor who is near than a brother that is far away. So this is a hard passage for a lot of people to read because we don't think in these kind of terms. But this is one of those things where it's just like, if you really think about it, if you're having a hard time, it is actually kind of hard to go to family because they don't necessarily always forget. They kind of have that lock in when you have a challenge. So sometimes it's better to go to your friends or your neighbors in those times of distress, so that you're not burdening your family with those worries. It's just it's counterintuitive, but that's it's what the Bible says. Be wise, my son, and make my heart glad, so that I may reply to one who taunts me. I'll look that up. It's a very interesting way to phrase that. I think it's trying to say that, I want to be proud of you so that nobody makes fun of me for having you or something, but it's kind of harsh, but yeah. A prudent person sees evil and hides himself, but the naive proceed and pay the penalty. Mm-hmm. Here's another one that we've talked about before. Take his garment when he becomes a guarantor for a stranger, and for a foreign woman seize a pledge from him. This is that stranger, and it's weird. I didn't really think this was something that would ever have a modern connotation, but I think there are a couple. One of which is that apparently it is a thing that people go to trick people into either lending or that sort of thing, and there is incentives involved, and it's so that foreign woman sometimes is like the strange woman or the woman of ill repute, that sort of thing, is another way to say that. So it's very interesting that's still a thing. I didn't really think that was, but I've discovered that recently, that's apparently still a thing, and even sort of in the U.S. Even it's just weird stuff going on. I don't know. Let's not do that. Keep away. One who blesses his friend with a loud voice early in the morning will be considered a curse to him. Or sorry, it will be considered a curse to him. And I don't know. It's weird. I have become more of a morning person than I was as I've stacked on the years and whatnot. I naturally would just wake up earlier in the morning, but that loud voice, that's the key here. That's what we want to avoid early in the morning. Let's ease into this. Be nice and calm. Have a nice steady voice. A constant dripping on a day of steady rain and a contentious woman are alike. He who would restrain her restrains the wind. Or who he would hide her hides the wind. Interesting. And grasps oil with his right hand. Encounters oil with his right hand? I guess that kind of works. So yeah, obviously we've talked about this before, but it's kind of like a whole like that notion of being able to control a woman like that, or just to be able to control a woman at all. I mean, it's silly. So even way back then, there was a recognition of that. Um, and how we got it twisted at one point in our societies, I'm not sure, but that's the way it was. So it was just like, whoop, nope, just stay away. Don't try and fix her. Don't try and do don't do that. Just stay away. So that's kind of that's what I get out of this. And it's funny. I see some YouTube videos every now and then, that sort of thing, and literally there was one that was. I have to share this with you. It's so just wild that you see this. There's this guy on his motorcycle, and there's this girl that's trying to get his number, and she's aggressive about it. And she's like, your girlfriend doesn't have to know and stuff like that. Like literally saying these words. And then he says, I'm sorry, but no, I'm loyal to my girlfriend, and I'm not interested. And she's like so offended by that. It's like every guy I ever talk to gives me his number, that sort of thing. And it's just like, why why would you ever want to be in a relationship with somebody like that? It blows my mind. But that's I apparently we're still seeing it. It's still a thing. It's a real thing out there in the world. It's not just some fiction. There we go. But at least he was smart enough to avoid it. Um, so verse 17, this is a key one. This is one of my favorites. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And that really is, advice is never easy. I'm going to wait. I want to talk about that afterwards, so I can get through this, and that way people can get on with their day, and they can hear me ramble on if they really want to. How's that sound? Verse 18, one who tends the fig tree will eat its fruit, and one who cares for his master will be honored. As in water, a face reflects the face, so the heart of a person reflects the person. This is big. This is that character thing we're talking about. Sheol or the netherworld, and Abaddon, which is the place of destruction. I almost had that memorized. Almost there. And it was a place of something or another. Sheol and Abaddon are never satisfied, nor are the eyes of a person ever satisfied. I want a quick second look at that one. That is kind of an odd way to say that. A person, like what person? The crucible is for gold, silver, and the furnace for gold, and each is tested by the praise accorded to him. That is a separate one. I note that's each is tested by the praise accorded to him. It's interesting to think about praise being a test, and it kind of is. It kind of goes back to right here. The heart of the person reflects the person. If you are receiving praises, that it's an open door, right? And so it's one of those opportunities, I guess you could say, to either respond gracefully or to basically pat yourself on the back. And I've always struggled with this. My wife will tell you that I constantly struggle with the notion of accepting praise. It is so difficult for me to do. So just simply accept it and smile and thank you and say thank you. I struggle with it. I want to just say, oh no. I want to get that away from me. I don't. One of these days I'll figure it out. One of these days I will. but it's odd because I seek praise naturally. I know that about myself, and so when I get it and I haven't asked for it, that's it freaks me out. So I don't understand. It's just a weird thing about me. Like Paul says, like doesn't understand himself. He does what he doesn't want to do, and yeah, um, yeah. Good to know I'm not alone in that sort of thing, but at the same time, it's frustrating. Verse 22, though you pound the fool in a mortar with a pestle along with crushed grain, his foolishness still will not leave him. A lot of work being put in there. And its foolishness will still not leave him. Know well the condition of your flocks, or the face of your flocks. Interesting. Riches are not forever, nor does the crown endure all generations. When the grass disappears, the new growth is seen, and the herbs of the mountain are gathered in. The lambs will be for your clothing, and the goats will bring a price of a field. And there will be enough goat's milk for your food, and the food of your household, and the sustenance of your attendants. So let's just say it this way. Know well. Pay attention. There will be enough. Catch that? It is of critical importance, and I've been thinking about this for the last 2 days actually. Trying to put my thoughts together for a bigger thing here about the concept of preparedness. While we know that God gives us good things, and I know personally, firsthand, in ways that just blow my mind every single time, how much God provides for my needs in advance, that foreknowledge of when I'll have times of trial, it is to me to know that, whether that's knowing how much is in the bank account or your investments or whatever that looks like, knowing the metrics of your business, knowing, how much time you're spending on things that matter versus things that don't matter, whatever that is, whatever the condition of your flocks is. If you pay attention to that, it's like if you see it, you can't not take action on that at some point or make a decision based on that. If you're ignorant to all of that and you're just living your life as if it doesn't matter, or just saying things like the quasi-Christian saying of, well, God's in charge, so he'll take care of me. It's just so frustrating to me hearing that phrase, because that's not what the Bible's saying. The Bible's saying that we should be good stewards of this. It's not saying that we should go out and toil on our own and we're on our own. That's not what it's saying either. But it's not saying that God is some vending machine in the sky. This is going to magically take care of your needs because you've said a prayer or said whatever. That's not the way this works. You have to take responsibility for being part of this. You need to be a good steward of the things that God is providing you. Not just saying, oh, good, I'm provided for, and going about your slumber. We need to be paying attention. We need to be good about this. I promised to talk about that. We'll talk about it at the end. I do promise. I do want to do a quick cross reference for those of you who want to stick around. This is always fun. There's a couple words here, a couple phrases that I just want to see some additional thoughts on. So those are that are highlighted in red. Ooh, hey, we have one from verse 4. Look at that. I might have to go back and review the recording for when we were in the Amplified for this, because I highlighted this as a follow-up item or a different thing, or as a a cross-reference item. That's very interesting. Did I have the same thought then? It'd be fascinating. It would not be the first time that sort of thing has happened to me. That I've had the same thought. It's like, oh, I just had this thought just now, and it's the same thing that I had before. Um, anyway, the "Be wise, my son, and make my heart glad, so that I may reply to one who taunts me." I wanted to reference that. And in the Amplified, it says, "Be wise, my son, be wise, and make my heart glad, that I may reply to him who reproaches, reprimands, or criticizes me." Huh. So it's not just about it's not just about you. You are a reflection of, in this case, a son is a reflection of his parent. So, but it's like, um, that son of yours, is that going to be a cringe moment or not? Let's go to verse 20 here. It says, Sheol and Abaddon are never satisfied, nor are the eyes of a person ever satisfied. Nor are the eyes of a person ever satisfied. Ugh, dang it. Nothing here. Nor are the eyes of man ever satisfied, is what it says in that. Well, I I'm assuming this is just left to our own devices. Um, hmm, interesting. They're left to our own devices. That we're never satisfied either. That nothing's ever enough for us. I think that's what's meaning, but something to be aware of anyway. Our nature. But I did want to give a thought on just the iron sharpens iron part of this. I kind of shared a story of being in a little mastermind scenario where, if you're not familiar with a mastermind, it's where people gather and basically listen to each other, encourage each other, rebuke each other where necessary, and give advice, that sort of thing. Exactly all the things that this was talking about. Like literally verse 9, where it says a person's advice is sweet to his friend. Yeah, this is exactly what a mastermind is. And so I was attending a rather intensive, like most of the day, mastermind, and had some revelations. I talked about this a couple weeks ago, but the outcome of that was that I was just feeling very just discouraged and couldn't really truly figure out why. And it really came obvious that I needed to rethink my strategy as far as the um, yeah, I'm saying this horribly, as far as my business goes. And so I've been on this period of fasting for the last week. Yeah, week now. And just kind of exploring this and kind of looking at, okay, where is God having me passionate? And and what is that going to mean for business and things like that? How does that work? And I don't know, it's weird. Like, I love doing things like this. I wish that I could just figure out a way to just get paid to do this. I'd do it all day. It'd be wonderful. But that isn't really all that realistic at this point in my life. For some, it kind of is, but that's not really, yeah, something that I really think a lot about, I guess, in that kind of way. But there are some things that I think, I've been thinking about. How could I make it so that we have a system in place that allows me to gather a group and do an iron sharpens iron kind of a thing, where it's just that group of people that you trust, It's not just random strangers. It's more of like a covenant kind of a thing. And so it is more of like a not just a Bible study, but more of a community. And so I have some resources that are currently being taken up by an IT community that I'm not doing anything with. And so the thought would be to instead of just canceling that, basically just resetting that and using that online community. Think of it like a our own social network, if you will, but it's closed off. It's not you can't get in. It's not like Facebook where just anybody can be out there and you don't have the distractions, you don't have the ads and all that kind of stuff. So as much as I'd love to do a Facebook group or something like that, I've avoided that to date because I don't like the what Facebook does with their groups at this point. Where they're advertising other groups, like the third thing you see when you're scrolling through a group or whatever. It's very frustrating to me. It's a heavily distracting environment by design. And so, if we were to do something like this, it's something I was kind of chatting with my wife about yesterday about this. There's some possibilities here, and just what that would look like. And so, I'm just I'm looking at some possibilities with that about that sort of thing. It would be a lot of time and a lot of like literal financial investments in making something like that work. But at the same time, I really am starting to feel led towards doing something more with that. And so kind of like a part-time job kind of a thing, if you want to think of it that way. And so yeah, just to let you know, I'm thinking about that. Largely for being able to do like it's great to do these broadcasts and things like that, but anytime like you type something in the chat, there's a delay. It's about 3 to 4 seconds, and conversationally, I've probably already moved on. So it's a little frustrating, and so having some sort of real time uh, ability to gather with people that we can trust each other and that sort of thing is a capability of this. Like being able to do even just like spinning up a Zoom call and just having a Bible study session or whatever, that sort of thing. Obviously, a Zoom call is not something you want to open up to the public, but just looking at some ways to do that. And so I just want to let you know that that is something that's on the horizon. That's something I'm thinking about. If that's something that sounds interesting, I would very much welcome your feedback. Very much. If you have something that is, um, yeah, useful about that or whatever, or things that you'd like to see, please do let me know. I'd appreciate it. And so, yeah, yeah. In the meantime, I have been greatly benefited by being sharpened by others, and so I hope that this event or just today has sharpened you a little bit. And so I do, and like I said, I do want to see this grow, not for me necessarily, but to be able to grow it. Period. And so you're the times you share this with others and encourage them to subscribe, that is actually helpful. That actually does not only help me get that recharge to continue, but it also helps others. And so that's really the point here is to get more wisdom into the world. So yeah, there's some. I hope to see some exciting things coming out of this, but yeah, there's a matter of just it's going to take all of us, I think. And so yeah, look for more of that later as I kind of process more of that and what that's going to look like, and how much time I could potentially commit to it and that structure. So look for more of that later. But until then, until whatever time, as I sneeze twice, do be blessed by the best, and then we go a blessing to all the rest. Love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Wisdom whispers in the wind, folly screams with twisted grin. Discipline, the mark of knowledge. Rebukes will bring the stupid to college. turns wrath aside.